Hey everybody, welcome to the round 14 player ratings video. This won't take long, I promise you. It'll be short and sharp. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. It's sad to have you here under such circumstances, given that the team aren't playing well. The club is in some sort of a pit, as it's been called, but the channel will continue to go on, and ultimately the goal is to document each week until this club wins its next premiership. And I guess this is just part of the journey. If you've never watched a player ratings video before, what I like to do is just give the players a rating from between 1 and 10, bang in the middle, 5 being a pass mark onwards. You won't see too many of them today, but basically I just like to start the conversation and just get a gauge for where we're at as a fan base. Any adjustments that you feel need to be made, whether a score is too high or too low, just write it in the comments. I'll look at that. I'll update it into a spreadsheet that I've got, and then at the end of the year, we'll crown a fan voted champion. So if you are returning and you've always watched the player ratings videos, great to have you as always. So let's begin. Newman, Jones, Parks. Newman, won't say much. He was below what he's capable of. Didn't lay a tackle. Wasn't really a big advocate or a fan of his game. I know he's so much better than that. I gave him a 2. Jones, same, gave him a 2. Just silly errors, silly mistakes. Tries hard. He does try hard. He's one of the few that I could say on the day gave effort. But how far does effort get you if you're just making mistakes, out of position? I don't know. He's a leader of the club as well in the leadership group. I gave him a 2 as well. Parksy, he hurt himself. I found early in the game he was out of position quite a bit. And he's far from, given the context of someone like a Liam Jones and a Luke Parks, I'll give a little bit of leniency, I would anyway, to Luke Parks. I gave him a 4. It's not a pass mark. He did get injured as well, so it's a little stiff, but just didn't think he got his job done. Next up, Williams, Wiedering and Sard. Zach Williams, the guy is taking the piss. He's actually taken the piss out of the football club. He hasn't endeared himself. He's played a couple of good games. Jonathan Brown, don't take it from me. Don't take it from me, a passionate fan. Take it from a legend of the game in Jonathan Brown. You just got to watch that rant where he talks about Zach Williams being a lazy footballer. Don't tell me that salaries don't mean anything. Of course they mean something. The guy is supposed to help us move forward and get better. And he's given us 11 possessions. He's laid a tackle and just seemingly disinterested, not willing to work hard enough, not willing to drive the standards. I feel like it's reasonable for a fan to expect that when you get such a high caliber player into your team, that high caliber player lifts the standards or helps drive the standards. I think that would be part of the conversation of why you would recruit him to the team, because he's going to make them better. This guy's on a 6-year deal. Goodness me. That is looking like a poor decision right now. There's plenty of time for him to get better. He is better. I know he's better. What is it? I don't know. I gave him just a fat 0. Just an ungradable game. I think it's the first time I've ever done it. Just a 0. He's better than that. I know he's better than that. He knows he's better than that. The club know he's better than that. And he did... When he had that 9 possession game earlier in the year, I spoke about how I hope he's not going into the football club and getting pats on the back. There needs to be a strong response to him. You've got to nip it in the bud right now. He is in the very early stages of his Carlton experience, and this is where you set the standards with him. I would probably even consider dropping him. You've got to set the standards now. You've got to do it now. Otherwise, in his 3rd and 4th and 5th year at the club, he's going to get used to it. He's going to keep doing it. And this is the 2nd time he's put in one of these piss-poor performances. And it's a fat 0 for me. Wiedering, I gave him a 3. Not good enough. He's better than that. He had his good moments, as Liam Jones did as well, but not good enough. He's better than what he played, and I gave him a 3. Adam Sard, felt really guilty giving anyone a pass mark, but I thought he did work hard and his work rate was there. And there were a few moments where he wasn't hard enough defensively. I think it was Jacob Hopper that stepped through him, and it's just like, Sardi, you're so much harder than that. You're a tough footballer. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen it. I've seen him be a tough defensive player, and Anyway, I thought, his offensive game was good enough to the point where I found a way to give him a pass mark. I thought he did work hard enough and helped us in that regard. So, bare pass mark from me. Next up, Curnow, Cripps, Doherty. Curnow, gave him a 3. Played on the wing. I don't know where he was. He was neither here or there. I would have thought he would need to go to Kelly or Taranto or Whitfield. Didn't go on either of them. Or if he did, I don't think he did the job on them for the 4 quarters. I just gave him a 3. Cripps, I actually thought Cripps, so weird, like such a poor performance. I thought Cripps for the team, but I thought Cripps really stood out. He looked like a guy that had come off the break. And what I saw from Cripps and the way he moved was how I kind of expected the rest of them to move. But that wasn't the case. He battled hard, did his thing. I gave him just a 6 for his game, nothing too over the top. Doherty, I'm really worried about Doc. I really am. I don't know what's going on. This is 3 weeks in a row now where they've just been really uncharacteristic, fumbly, uncertain moments of his. He's not a soft footballer, but he's playing with this... I don't know, is there a cloud in his mind? What's going on? Is he buying into what's being told of him? He's moving up to the wing now. I don't know. There's a big unknown, but the reality is he's the captain of the football club, and he had some moments where, a few weeks ago I said, I backed him in and I said, he won't sleep well tonight, but he's doing it again. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. I love this guy. I love him as a player, but it's time to get serious. Heath Shaw and Daisy Thomas on their show spoke about how Sam Doherty, as the captain of the football club, he should have gone and played on Toby Green. And I don't know, is that player driven? Is that coach driven? Who knows? But I just thought Doc was poor, gave him a 2, and I just hope that he sorts it out. I don't know what's going on. Next up is Owies, Fisher and Martin. Owies, mate, if he gets it, he gets whatever it is, he gets it, plays with it. Kicked his 2 goals, 9 or 10 touches was it. I gave him a 7 for his game. I really enjoyed what he had to offer. Fisher, I gave him just a bare pass mark. He had the 16 and a goal. He limped for most of the game. I don't know if he re-injured something in the game, but I was obviously there, and he was limping for most, if not all, of the game. So I don't know. He's underdone. It's either a new injury or whatnot. At the time of filming this, I don't know yet because the injury report hasn't come out, but he definitely was limping for most of that game. And given the circumstances, I gave him just a bare pass mark. Jack Martin, there's no way he's anywhere near fully fit. Knee strapped, calf strapped. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing that he even played. He shouldn't have played. I say that with conviction. There's no way he is fully fit. Like that was absolutely the moment to play Josh Honey. Absolutely the moment to play Josh Honey, because Martin couldn't move, no explosiveness, nothing. And the players all say it once you take the field. That's it. You're good to go. Like I didn't see anything from Jack Martin to tell me that he was worth anything more than a 0. I gave him a 0 as well, and I don't think he can play next week. This isn't. Maybe he played because it was like our last chance at playing finals. I don't know what the mentality was, but he's nowhere near the Jack Martin that was playing last year, and he's obviously injured. He's come off a PCL injury and a calf and whatever it is, so he just should not be playing right now. Next up, Silvani, Mackay, Betts. Jack, he battled. He was okay. I didn't find a way to give him a pass mark. I gave him a 4. There were a few key moments which I really loved. I think the Tom de Koning goal, where we were sort of back into the game, and some of the GWS players tried to come and rough up, the little scuffle, and he really got amongst that and didn't let anyone touch Tom. And a little moment like that, I take some solace in. So I gave him a 4 for his performance. Harry, no tackles. I was really interested to see how would Harry play defensively after signing this contract, and he didn't chase hard enough. He doesn't chase hard enough. He gets away with it because he kicked his 3 goals though, and that's really what he's there to do. But I really want to see him working harder off the ball, making leads. It just seems like he puts his hand on his defender and accepts that he's got a defender on him, rather than trying to work his defender into exhaustion. Anyway, I gave him a pass mark because he kicked his 3 goals, and that's ultimately what his job is. But I do want to see his desperation. Defensively, he's got to be laying tackles, because he's a guy that if he's laying tackles, it lifts the rest of that group, and they're really engaged. And Nick Riewoldt said it, the young guys, the Walshes, the Wiederings and the Mackays, they've got to drive this, and 0 tackles from Harry Mackay is not driving it. So I expect better from him in that regard, but ultimately I gave him a pass mark. Eddie Betts, I thought he started really well. He was lively. Obviously, the ball wasn't going down there a lot, and then when it was going down there, it was going in poorly. But ultimately, I gave him a 4 for his game. Pitternet, Walsh, Dow. Pitto, actually, upon reflection, I thought he battled okay. Kicked a goal. He's a bit clumsy at times, but he's a battler. I gave him just a bare pass mark. Walshy, great experience for him. He had back to ball tagging him. I believe this might be the first time he was, had a hard tag on him. It's good. I don't want to hide him away from this. Expose him to it. Yeah, I get it. Protect him. Put blocks on for him, which they were. I saw Cripps putting blocks on for Walsh quite a few times. But let him work through it. This is going to be Sam Walsh's reality for the rest of his career. Maybe not every week this year, but maybe next year onwards, he's going to be tagged. And let him work through it. I think he's capable of working through it. He's going to be a superstar of the competition. And this is going to be part of it. And this is kind of why I don't want him to be captain just yet. Because he hasn't beaten the tag just yet. So let him go through beating the tag consistently, then let's consider him making captain. That's just how I see it. I'm not saying that's fact, but anyway, he battled, got his 20 in the end. I gave him a 4 for his game because I think maybe his own standards have sort of risen. The bar has creeped up for him for what's a pass mark now because of how great he's been. Maybe that's unfair. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Paddy Dow, I gave him a 4. There were some nice moments. We can all talk about the kicking and whatnot, but ultimately I thought in stoppages, in close, offensively there were times where I really liked what he did. Everyone wants to forget about that he had 5 tackles, which was as much as anyone else had in the team. So he's there, he's thereabouts. I just think he's at that point where playing for the rest of the year, and let's assess it at the end of the year. I think he showed enough to stay in the side, and we're at that point now where we've got to see what the future is, and I think it's more of a motivating factor for him. It's like, Paddy, you got 10 weeks, including the Giants game. You got 10 weeks in this side. Go for it, son. Show us what you got and prove that you are the midfielder that is going to take us forward, or one of the midfielders that will take us forward. So, having said that, gave him a 4 because the standards remain the same. There are high standards, and that's how it goes. Kennedy, I've got the bench now. Kennedy, Fogarty, De Koning, and Stocker. Kennedy, I gave him an 8 for his game. Dare I say it, he played like his life was on the line, and it is in terms of his professional career life at the Carlton Football Club. He got a game really because Setterfield was injured. He's been on the outer all season, but he cracks in. I thought he actually wised up as the game went on. Early in the piece, he was turning the ball over a little bit clumsy with the ball, but then he realised what he had to do, and he kept going. He was like a man possessed, and I just wish, how do you bring that? How do you get that intrinsic motivation and spread that throughout the group? I don't know, but he didn't take a step backwards. He did his thing. I gave him an 8 for his game, which is really hard to do considering how piss poor that effort was from the rest of them. What do we got? Fogarty, I gave him a 4. Just didn't think he did enough. I think he's better than what he played. He was, again, I take note of the fact that the forward entries were poor. It was a hard day to be a half-forward flanker, that's for sure, but ultimately I just felt like it was a below pass mark. Tom De Koning, thought he's coming along nicely. I think we've got to get this picture out of our head that he's going to be the Brodie Grundy. He's just going to be a really good ruckman and stop putting the pressure on him. And if he becomes a superstar, then that's fine, but let's just enjoy and embrace what he's doing right now and not put too much pressure on him. I gave him a bare pass mark. It was good to see him in the ruck contest a little bit more this week. His leap is very exciting. He's a very exciting prospect for us. The fact that he hit the scoreboard was good. He read the play well with Jack Silvani in that third quarter, and I gave him a pass mark for his game. Stocker, I think that was probably his best game of the season. He had 18 touches, went at 70%, still playing in that back line. I really would like to see him up the ground a bit more. There were some stages throughout the GWS game where he was. There was a beautiful inside 50 entry. I think it might have been to Matt Owies. And you're just thinking, is anybody else seeing this? Why can't we see this 15 times a game? Why can't we put him in positions where he's up the ground? And I don't know. I think we're at that point now where we're going to look ahead to the future, and he's the future. And I want to see what he's got in there. I think he's had plenty of time to, pick up this fitness issue that apparently he has. He looks fit to me. I don't know where the fitness issue comes from. He's got that grunt and the will and the desire to want to impact. And anyway, I gave him a 6, and that'll do it. I'm not going to give Jack Nunes a rating because he barely played. But yeah, very disappointing, very sobering week this week. I really didn't want to record this, if I'm being honest. I didn't want to record this, but sometimes you've got to do, and that's part of the discipline. You've got to do things at times you don't want to do it. So anyway, end of the day, I will reiterate, we all love this club. I love this club. I don't want to be talking about players and officials and whatnot in the manner that I have been and we have been. I don't want to yell at them at the ground. I just feel sick. I feel sick that it's taken me to that point. And, I've had to reassess. I always like to, self-reflect on, how I can be better. And I don't know. We'll see how we go. But yeah, it's flattening. It's flattening because I care. It's flattening because I care. I'm not going to stop caring. That's not something I'll just stop doing. It's not in my nature and it's not how it's going to be. So anyway, share with me your thoughts on the player ratings and, we'll move on and we'll see what happens from here on. Go the Mighty Blues.